Road workers and repair crews. Nationally in 2010, 576 people were killed in crashes that happened in work zones. Although road construction and maintenance sites are often well posted with warning signs, you must take extra care to ensure the safety of anyone working on a roadway. Orange warning signs are and work equipment usually means that people are on foot nearby. Follow road signs carefully and stay alert. Look for sudden changes in road direction or condition. Be prepared to stop. If you are cited for speeding in a work area, the fines will be doubled. That sounds like a question I might ask. So if you're in a work area with orange posted signs and you're speeding, then you'll have to pay twice as much for your ticket. Animals and horse-drawn vehicles. Always give the right of way to an animal that someone is leading, riding, or driving. Animals are easily scared by motor vehicles. When you get near an animal or horse-drawn vehicle, be careful and do the following. Slow down. Stop if the animal or vehicle is coming towards you or is crossing your path. Allow the animal to pass. If the animal or vehicle traveling in the same direction as you, allow plenty of room for passing safety. Drive at a reasonable speed. Do not honk your horn or make loud noises. Really? Duh. If the animal you are passing looks scared, you must pull your vehicle to the side of the road and stop. Proceed only when safe. You must stop if a rider or driver signals you to do so. This law applies to horses, cows, or any other draft animal. Any other animal you'd ride. In rural areas, take extra care when passing hay rides. These are usually animal drawn and full of passengers. Seems like a weird thing to put in. Parking. Stopping and parking your motor vehicle is regulated. It is important to ensure safety and a smooth traffic flow. You should practice parking maneuvers and know the parking laws. Here are some general rules about stopping and parking. You must not create a traffic hazard while parking or while your vehicle is stopped. You must always make sure that you leave about a 12-foot wide clear roadway for traffic to pass. So if you park in the road, you have to leave how much space?
12 foot.
12 foot. So you can't park on the road so that there's not enough space for 12 feet wide on the road.
So what were you just talking about?
Well, if you're parking on a road, you have to make sure if you park somewhere that there's at least 12 feet left on the road for cars to go by, 12 feet wide. Like you can't, if it's too narrow, you can't park your car there. When you leave your vehicle by itself, state law requires that you stop the motor, set the brake, and make sure the ignition is locked. Remove your key and lock the door. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So when you park your car, you have to make sure that you take the keys and lock the doors. So if you leave your car unlocked, it's actually against the law. Isn't that weird? When you pull away from the curb, you must wait for vehicles in the travel lane to pass. You must then signal that you are pulling out and move slowly into traffic. Parallel parking. Choose a space that is long enough for your vehicle. Make sure parking is legal. Pull up alongside the vehicle in front of the space. Leave about 2 to 3 feet between your vehicle and the parked one. Position your vehicle so that your rear bumper and front seats line up with the rear bumper and front seats of the other vehicle. Look behind you both ways to check for pedestrians and other traffic. Slowly back up and turn the steering wheel all the way toward the curb. So you pull up in your car, and then you start backing into a spot like that. See, they're backing in. You've seen me do that before, right?
Yeah.
Back into a spot. Slowly back up and turn the steering wheel all the way toward the curb. Yeah, parallel parking. Rest your foot lightly on the brake. Look directly out your rear window. Do not use your mirrors. When your front passes the parked vehicle's rear bumper, turn your steering wheel in the opposite way and continue backing up. Do not hit the vehicle behind you. When you are back far enough, straighten your wheels and pull forward. Make sure the vehicle to keep enough space in front and behind you so the other vehicles can get out. Parking on hills. This is sort of interesting. You may have never heard this before. I'm sure you haven't actually. So when you're parking on hills, always set your parking brake, that's the emergency brake, and leave your vehicle in gear when parking on a hill. if you have a manual transmission. So like in my car, you would put it like in first gear when you're on the hill. If you have, or in reverse if you're facing down. But anyway, all you need to know is you leave it in gear. If you have an automatic transmission, set your parking brake and shift into park. You must turn your front wheels in the proper direction to stop it from rolling downhill if the brakes fail. So if you're on a hill here, you always have the tires pointing towards the side of the road.
Oh.
So that if the car starts rolling, the car will roll into the sidewalk or the curb and not roll down the hill. You know what I mean? So you want the car so that if it starts, so this is the hill going down. You want your wheels pointing towards the curb. So no curb.
What would you say, Dad?
Well, I'll just read it to you. So if there's no curb, turn your wheels inward toward the edge of the road. Uphill against a curb, turn your wheels outward toward the travel lane. This is sort of confusing. Downhill against a curb, turn your wheels inward toward the curb. So if there's a curb on the side of the road, you know what a curb is, right? Then you have, and this is the hill, you want your car, if it starts to roll into the curb. So you point the wheels like always towards the curb. See how this is the hill? So if the car starts to roll, it'll kind of roll into the curb because the hill's up this way. And in this same thing here, because what'll end up happening is the car will hit into the curb and then stop. But if there's no curb, then they suggest that you do the opposite. So if your car starts rolling down the hill, I guess they don't want it to roll off the road. It'll roll into the road, but that's a little odd. But anyway, the way I always learned about it is you always put the wheels towards the curb so that if the car does start to roll, the wheels will bump into the curb and that'll help it from stop rolling more. Like if your brakes fail. Parking regulations. Parking regulations are generally determined by state law. They are enforced by local cities and towns. If you park in a business or residential district, your vehicle must be no more than 12 inches from the curb. That's interesting. So if you park like in a city or something, right, next to the curb, how far can your car be away from the edge?
12 inches.
12 inches. The only exception is if angled parking is allowed. Parking spaces are often marked with white road lines. You must park your vehicle between these lines. You must not take up 2 spaces. In Massachusetts, you may not park your vehicle in certain places. These are all things that they would test you on possibly. In a zone posted with no parking, no standing, or no stopping signs. In a bus stop. As of 2009, the penalty for parking in a posted bus stop is $100. In a taxi stand, that means a place where taxis pick up people. In a zone at a time posted for street cleaning. Sometimes there's signs on the side of the road that say you can't park there because they'll be cleaning the streets. In a posted loading zone, that means like where trucks would take stuff on and off. Within 20 feet of an intersection, you cannot park. In a crosswalk, in front of a driveway, or in front of a handicapped access ramp. In a zone posted for HPDV parking only, unless you have a disabled person's plate or placards or disabled veteran plates. The fine for first offense is $300. The fine for a wrongful use of disabled person, veteran plate, or placard is a minimum of $500. So you know, like you see the signs that have like a wheelchair on them.
Yeah.
And you can't park there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't park there. Oh boy, there's a lot of these. Within 10 feet of a fire hydrant, you cannot park. On a sidewalk, curb, center traffic island, or median. So you can't park on a sidewalk or like in the middle of a road in a traffic island. During a weather or roadway emergency. So if there's like they'll announce that like snow emergency, so you can't park on the side of the road then. Facing the wrong way against traffic. That's interesting. I didn't realize that was against the law. On a state or an interstate highway. So can you park on Route 95 or Route 1?
Route 95 or Route 1.
Can you park on the side of those roads?
Oh, yes, you can. No, we can't. No.
No, you can't. It's against the law to park on the side of a highway.
No, you can't. No, definitely not.
On the Massachusetts Turnpike, which is just another highway.
No, don't park on there.
This is interesting. On a roadway In a rural area outside a thickly settled district, you cannot park.
What?
So if you on a roadway in a rural area outside of a thickly settled district. So apparently you can't park on the side of the road out in the woods, which is kind of weird. I didn't even know that. Like a rural area is like a woody area. So if you're just on some road that's going out through the middle of nowhere, apparently you can't park on the side of the road there. It's against the rules, which is weird. Why do they care? But it says, in a traffic lane next to a row of parked vehicles, double park. So if there's cars parked, you can't park right beside them, right? To make non-emergency repairs to your vehicle. You may get a citation with a fine for violating parking regulations. The fines for most of the violations are listed above are set by city or town ordinances and will vary depending on the city or town. Unpaid parking tickets can stop you from renewing your license or vehicle registration. So these are a bunch of different signs that tell you not to park. 1 hour parking. So you can only park there for 1 hour between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. No parking anytime. No parking, bus stop. No parking, this means no parking, no P. 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Emergency stopping only. No standing anytime. Means you can't park there anytime. Handicap sign, obviously you've seen those before, right? No parking on the bridge. Parking meters. Have you ever seen a parking meter? Many public parking spaces are operated with coin-fed meters. Rules and time limits usually apply during posted days and hours. If you park longer than allowed or fail to pay the meter fee, you will be issued a parking citation. Parking permits. Many cities and towns give special parking permits to residents. Certain cities have resident permit parking only signs. If you do not have a permit or a special visitor's placard, you may not park there. So like if you look at what's Robert's car, he actually has a special permit for South Boston, I think it's, or South End. And so he has a little sticker that allows him to park where he lives. But if you went up there and tried to park on those places, your car, you'd get a ticket because you don't have the special sticker for their area. They don't have that like in North Attleboro, but in big cities they have that. It says contact your local city or town to find out how to get a permit. So we'll stop here. We'll do that next.